Good morning, everybody. God's blessings to you in your home church. Now, I want to go back to John chapter 21. We had that yesterday as part of our gospel reading, but I need to do a little bit of review. Just a reminder that the whole occasion of John 21 is Jesus is appearing again after the resurrection. He appears to them on a seashore. They didn't recognize him initially. Now, I want to point out that there are many similarities between this appearance on the seashore, where Jesus encounters disciples that had gone fishing and they hadn't caught anything after all night, fishing. And then think back that at the very beginning of Jesus' ministry, it was almost the same scene. James and John, Peter and Andrew, they were fishing and they hadn't caught anything, and Jesus said, let out your nets on the other side, and then they caught a whole bunch of fish. Well, that's the same thing that happens at this time after Jesus rises from the dead. And you remember from the gospel reading that they didn't initially recognize him, and then they came to breakfast. Now, I want to point out, I'd like you to look at verse 9 very carefully and remind yourselves of that when Jesus fixed breakfast. It was interesting that it said that he had a charcoal fire there, and that's what he cooked the bread and the fish on. And that charcoal fire should remind you that of a time when Peter had denied Jesus 3 times, and he had warmed himself at a charcoal fire outside of the high priest's headquarters. And this whole scene is setting up for the reinstatement of Peter as a disciple after denying Jesus 3 times. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. But I just want to kind of remind you again that there are things that God puts in our lives that remind us of his action and his involvement in our life. So may God be with you on this wonderful Monday. Amen.